Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Who's that kid? Nick. He looks like Beaker from Muppets.
The one on FS1, Nick Wright. Yep.
Yeah. I got something.
That's
for
amazing.
him.
I did not even. I love that.
If I get 5 women and they're all in the same room with me, we're going at it at 110%.
Welcome in, everybody, for this week's edition of the Lazy Booking Podcast here on A2D Radio. I am Chrome. I'm joined by my co-host, Eric the Archer. What's up, brother?
Hey, Chrome. How's everything going?
Good, man. Good, man. Good to have you on again. Big week this week. But first and foremost, let's show a little love and pay some bills to Specialized Physical Therapy. You can find them in Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey at their physical locations, or you can find them on the web at that site there. Any aches, pains, long-lasting, or new physical issues you have going on, let him and his award-winning team assist you and get you on track on a program to get you back to a better you at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. They are sponsoring our opening topic. We got lots to talk about, Eric, but how can we not kick this show off with the big event of the weekend? WWE makes its debut on ESPN, which sounds like it's going to be a cluster, but making their debut on ESPN with WWE Wrestlepalooza, and we make the statement here. WWE Wrestlepalooza will exceed expectations. Agree or disagree? So wherever you're at, Facebook, X, Twitter, YouTube, please comment, like, subscribe, share the show out, set your alerts, and we really, really want to hear from you guys and get your opinions on this as well. We're also going to talk about, as you can see on our ticker line at the bottom here, we're going to touch on NXT Homecoming towards the end of the show and the hot conversation that's been coming out over the last day or so about both companies, TNA and WWE, believing that Joe Hendry is going to officially make the jump, even though he's essentially on NXT television every week anyway. Sounds like he's going to be a contracted superstar sooner than later. But let's dive into this, Eric. Agree or disagree that Wrestlepalooza will exceed expectations?
So, again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. So, big event Saturday, big weekend for wrestling fans. You got not only Wrestlepalooza, but you also have AEW All Out that's happening in the afternoon. I do think that Wrestlepalooza is going to exceed expectation, and I'll tell you why. First off, this is the first event on ESPN. I think it's going to be very critical for them. Well, first off, making sure that fans can find this event, because you've seen them all today on ESPN on First Take. I think Cody Rhodes was on today.
Yes, he was.
They got Pat McAfee working his magic on his show, already leaking the opening match, which will be the Brock Lesnar John Cena match. So I do think that the goal right now is to make sure that people know where to find it, whether it's through their cable provider that has the ESPN Unlimited, or in cases like myself, you're going to have to pay that $30 to go watch this thing. But I think WWE is really banking on people doing that, especially those without the providers that are carrying it. So I do think it's going to exceed expectations, because I think they need it to exceed expectations. I think there's going to be some surprises. I think they're going to go out and kind of act like this is a WrestleMania. This is a first impression with ESPN that I think that they can't mess up. And I think it's very important that not only do they have their fan base, but some casuals as well that are just signing up for this app. And I think it's going to be very important to have a really big show and a great first impression, because if people are forking out $30, $40 for this new platform, it's going to be very important for the consumer point of view to make sure that it's worth their money that they're forking out, because people are used to not paying anything or paying $13.99 or something for Peacock, or maybe they have utilizing Netflix at probably between $12 and $20. So having that extra $30 on somebody's budget is probably, for a lot of people, not the best, easiest thing to go through, and having that added to their budget. So I think the diehard wrestling fans going to tune in, and I think they're going to get a great show. And I think we're going to see things that we are expecting, but also things that we may not expect also.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a star-studded show, top to bottom. You really look. I mean, you're getting, obviously, the John Cena Farewell Tour. You're getting John and Brock. That's huge. You're getting the return of AJ Lee 10 years after her last WWE match, teaming up with her husband, CM Punk, who fairly recently returned over the last 2 years to a huge return, up against Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, who are two of the most maybe compelling characters right now in the industry. And then, you have, I think, a match that could steal the night in Iyo and Stephanie Vaquer, because, I mean, you talk about two of the best women's wrestlers in the world, or just in general wrestlers in the world. And then you have the return of the Usos reunion, so to speak, teaming up against the Vision. And obviously you have Cody and you have Drew McIntyre. So, it's a compact show. It's 5 matches, which we love. These marathon shows tend to be a little bit much. But I like that they've kept with the formula, it seems, over the last year or so, with these non-major events. And I say non-majors, and, we talk about the big 4, maybe big 5 if you include Money in the Bank, of not having a million matches on the card, right? These other PLEs that they have, or I still want to call them pay-per-views.
I know, I do that too.
Yeah, but, listen, they packed it. They were going up against All In. All In shifted its start time, AEW, because of, and it's got to be because of this. They could say it's not, but it is. It is. I mean, WWE was throwing the big guns at you, and they go and bring AJ Lee back. So, listen, I think because it's not one of the major PLEs, and typically this time of year, there tends to be a lull in the creative and the programming. I think that even though it is a packed card in terms of the talent names, I do believe that the expectations might be slightly low on this. So I do expect this match, or this card, to exceed the expectations going in. I think I'm intrigued to see what a John Cena match against Brock Lesnar at this iteration of his career is going to look like. And obviously, listen, you're getting the Usos, a reunion. You're getting, returning superstars. It seems like an exciting card. I do think it's going to be more of an advancement of everything. So, we'll see. But yes, I think it'll exceed expectations. Typically, these are the kinds of cards that do, where you think, we talked about the last one, right, Eric, where we thought Clash in Paris would be a little bit more of a throwaway, and it wasn't. So I think we're looking at the same thing here. And this is also, this is where we start hitting the bewitching hour to start getting towards Survivor Series, which then leads you into Royal Rumble, right? I look at Survivor Series as almost like the season finale, so to speak. So we'll see.
The only thing I don't agree with everything you said, I think the only thing is, I think there are huge expectations from the company standpoint as far as this event goes. This is ESPN. Everybody knows what ESPN is. Everybody knows what it's about. It's the worldwide leader of sports. And now that WWE is now with ESPN, I believe that the company is really looking for a big number here and getting a huge first impression with this ESPN platform. I think this is a really big show for internal for WWE, for the fans. I think also looking at, you're putting John Cena and Brock Lesnar in this PLE, and Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes might be the third match out of the 5 or maybe 6 from what we're here, what I'm seeing online. Those are the match. That's the third match rank that people want to see. I think, everybody's anticipating the mixed tag, but Cody and Drew has kind of been a forgotten part of the story, or part of this PLE, because of the return of AJ Lee and the anticipation of the Cena Farewell Tour continuing with the Beast. So I think it's going to be something that they're looking at. This isn't a throwaway show to them, and I don't think that the company sees it that way, and I don't think the fan base should see it that way either. I think they're really going to go all out here. And we're going to talk about some of the matches. I feel like there's definitely opportunity to see some people that are not advertised to be added to this show, to add that extra excitement and add that value to this PLE.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, great point. ESPN, this is a big moment. ESPN has done their due diligence to back this thing. It has been promoted to death. They've beaten the horse a million times over, whether it was commercials, having John Cena, doing an ESPN commercial to promote it. And then obviously on all of their big shows, Get Up, First Take, the Pat McAfee show, having their talent appear on these shows. And I have to say, ESPN does a really great job of covering this stuff. And they do. It is interesting to me to see, like, case in point today, you had Cody Rhodes on, he was on both shows, but particularly on First Take with Stephen A., who we know is a wrestling fan. But to hear him and Ryan Clark interact, and Ryan Clark has some great questions too. Or to see, what's his name? Oh, Lou. Help me out here. I'll come back.
On ESPN?
Yeah. Louis Riddick. There we go. Louis Riddick.
Oh, yeah.
When Louis Riddick, gets pumped.
Yeah.
And, you could tell he follows the storyline because the things that he says, whether he's a part of a segment when a superstar is on, or maybe it's the segment after and they reference something, or the promo runs and he makes a statement. It's always interesting to see, remember when we were kids and being a wrestling fan was you were almost like a closet wrestling fan, or you had your friend, your group of friends that were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just funny to see, how popular it is in the mainstream, and to see these really massive sports personalities embrace it and truly embrace it.
Yeah.
And listen, the reality is, everybody knows, and I like that they kind of stay half in kayfabe and half not.
People aren't dumb,
but the appreciation that they show for the WWE superstars when they're on there, whether it was Bianca Belair, whoever it was, it's always just very fascinating to me and enjoyable to watch. So I agree with you. If they do not deliver on this show, then it is their fault. Mm-hmm. It is them who did not do their due diligence. Now, I feel like it's a lot, the pricing and everything. I'm very confused. I saw an article today that if you don't have it included with your cable or streaming service included already, that you may have to pay $30. You may have to pay twice this month or something.
Yeah. So to your point, with first off, with ESPN, I remember when the partnership took place, that ESPN was not the highest bidder, and I think WWE knew exactly what they were getting. Hey, we may not be getting the most money, but we're going to get the most out of this deal. They've got all these platforms. Everybody knows Sports Center. Everybody knows First Take. You know what you're getting from ESPN. So I think that's why this partnership is a win-win for both sides. Now, going to the pricing, that's one thing I think WWE could have done a better job with, is explaining, hey, if you don't have so-and-so, I believe Hulu, if you have Hulu Live, you get it. You're getting the unlimited with no extra. I think Verizon Fios, and I believe Fubo could be Fubo. It's correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then I apologize. But Xfinity customers, YouTube TV, There's no agreements yet because I believe this is kind of last minute where WWE and ESPN weren't supposed to partner up until WrestleMania. So now there's some scrambling going on. And I think to your point, Chrome, it's very confusing for somebody who has ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney and thinks that they're going to have Wrestlepalooza when in fact they're not going to have it at all. So I think WWE missed an opportunity to explain it to the fans on their Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, maybe put something online on YouTube. If you don't have this, unfortunately, right now we're working on it, but you may have to pay that $30. So that's why it's really important to deliver on this PLE for those consumers that are going to have to pay that $30. Am I going to get my money's worth? Because the next time, if you're not delivering, you're not getting my $30. So it's going to be really key, not only to deliver, but also to make sure you keep those casual fans there continuing to purchase, because if not, you're going to lose them, and it's not going to be a good start for WWE ESPN partnership.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree, and it's, we're at an age where it was maybe a year or two ago, where again, if you're an ESPN watcher, Chris Russo talks about all the time how the NFL scatters these games all over all these different streaming services, and like, we're good with it. We can work it through. And like I said, even though it's confusing now, if I really sat down and looked at it and figured everything out, I'm sure that I could.
Yeah. One thing also is college football's on Saturday. So people watching college football on ESPN platforms, watching regular ESPN and college football Saturday is just huge. So having this event on a Saturday night on an ESPN app, it's got to be really crucial to make sure that everybody knows where to tune in and how to tune in. So, and I know there's some suggestions out there, like people get VPNs because Netflix is still carrying this outside of the US. So VPN is also an option. But I mean, hopefully WWE knows what they're doing as far as making sure that their fans are getting access to the show. Otherwise, they're going to have a number that they're not going to like, and they're going to have their hands up in the air like, what happened? Why didn't they tune in? It's kind of one of those things where hopefully they did everything they could. And I know they tried with First Take, but I really think they missed the ball trying to explain who has ESPN Unlimited and who doesn't. So we shall see. Hopefully it works out.
Yeah, like even myself, right? So, and thanks for picking up there.
Yeah.
We didn't expect.
That's what partners are for.
We had a tough week. We weren't going to originally do a show. We thought we had to get something in. So I got 4 dogs running crazy right now. They're usually pretty chill, but if they hear the wind blow the wrong way,
they're ready for Wrestlepalooza, Chrome.
I know. But no, listen, I think, like, even for myself, like Chris Russo always talks about the issues with that. And now people are starting to be able to understand, like, my dad is one who struggles to, like, he's good if he's in the service, but once he gets signed out, every now and then it kicks you out of it.
Yeah.
It's like a whole process to get him back in it again. So I think it's very difficult, and they scatter all this stuff around. So, I even myself looked at so I pay for mine through Verizon, which I don't know if Verizon has that tier available. I haven't looked at it.
So do you have Verizon Fios?
No, I just have.
So you don't have. So if you have the wireless, so I'm in the same boat as you. So we do not have ESPN Unlimited. We have ESPN Plus. So ESPN Plus is basically what the platform is now, where it's got like a couple shows on there and they've got a library of things. But if you look at the ESPN app and you go on the bottom toolbar, there's a button that you can hit, and it has Wrestlepalooza on there. It has like the pre-show. It has a couple things. The pre-show is on ESPN Plus. So you can watch that without the unlimited subscription. But as soon as you click on the 7:00 Eastern time, which is, I believe somebody asked what time it was, 7:00 Eastern time. So at 7:00 Eastern time on ESPN Unlimited, it automatically takes you to the provider, to the cable provider. Please log in with your cable provider. So people that are expecting it hopefully aren't getting bad news come 6:55 when they're hitting that button. Hopefully you're able to to get access to it if you don't have it. And our chat will be open, so if you have any questions, we can try to help out. We're probably going to be figuring out the same way you all are. So it's going to be interesting. But from my understanding, I don't have it. I have YouTube TV, so I don't have access to it. So I have gone back and forth. We have a friend that switched to Hulu TV. It's the same price as YouTube, so they get ESPN Unlimited included in their package. So that was something that everybody's got to make a decision on what they're going to do. There's also the VPN option because, like I said, Netflix has it. So, and someone asked in the chat also about Netflix. So Netflix has WWE PLEs, but not in the United States. They have it everywhere else. They have the international. So they still have it, but they don't have it in the US. And I think a lot of the strategy for WWE was to scatter it around and have different platforms pay them abundance of money to carry their PLE events and Monday Night Raw for Netflix and USA Network for Smackdown. So it's a lot of different moving parts, but it's a different money streams from all these different avenues. So it's smart business, I believe, but for the consumer, it really stinks.
Yeah, it does stink. I mean, we're saying, you dropped it in. I think it was you. Somebody dropped in earlier in our private chat that it looks like which event? I think Elimination Chamber is going to be in Italy. So everything's going to be international now because they're going to pay a premium dollar to bring the product over. So we'll still, the U.S. will be the Raw and SmackDown place.
We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn right away. Like I think Saturday is gonna be the first test. Like, hey, this is where we're at, and then hopefully some of these streaming platforms. I'm hearing YouTube could be in agreement soon, and I'm sure Xfinity will be right behind it. But Saturday will be interesting. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Unfortunately, with what's crazy, and we're not going to deep dive into this. We're going to jump into the card in a second. I do want to make this quick statement as maybe even a food for thought for next week if somebody wants to bring it back up. But, we talk about how, TKO is in this debt. But what's wild to me is like WWE is not in terms of that entity of the business. They're continuing to make money. So it's almost as if TKO is leveraging WWE and its popularity and its ability even overseas to get a premium dollar. And with all these streaming services to cover the cost of their other entities in their business.
Yep.
Which is, the reason WWE is the money maker that it is because of its ability to be a consumer driven business, but to be affordable and common sense. And now it's becoming overly complicated. I feel like they are starting to, when we talk ticket prices, like the ticket prices in the last 2 years alone, 3 years, we saw it coming because WrestleMania started going up big time.
Yeah.
But the ticket prices are so astronomically ridiculous at this point to go to a SmackDown where you're not even getting Roman Reigns and you didn't even get Cody. So it's weird to me.
Yeah.
But again, I just hope that TKO doesn't do what a lot of people do, which is we're going to lean on the fact that these people have given, in our case, like me, 35 years of my life of a dedication. I hope that they're not going to make this an entitlement. When people say, oh, WWE, I look at it as TKO now because TKO is pulling all those financial strings and making those financial. It's not Hunter. People think it's Hunter. It's not Hunter.
Nope.
He's the chief content officer. So he has say in creative and he has say in that stuff. I just hope that they're not leaning on us and leveraging us and to where they are eliminating the consumer that got them to where they are, because you're bleeding out the family aspect of WWE, and Vince was a lot of things. But the one thing that Vince always did was even when he raised ticket prices, he still always had seats and always had enough availability to make it affordable for a family. Overall, WrestleMania, yeah, of course you saw.
Well, I mean, even WrestleMania, if you go back to the WrestleMania 9 documentary, it talked about the pricing, and this was 30 years ago, but Vince McMahon had $25 seats for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Unheard of now. Add a couple zeros to it.
Yeah.
But, and to your point, Vince is a lot of things, and say what you will about him, and most are true, if not all of them.
You shit.
But one thing that you can say is, to your point, he wasn't pricing out his audience, and he knew when to make moves with pricing. And to your point, I think TKO right now is looking at the wrong things and looking at one thing, and that's the bottom line. And of course, as a business, you have to do that. And of course, when you're in debt and you need to find ways to get more money and get more in the black than the red.
They're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes. Now, one thing I did notice, and I was listening, and one guy I don't agree with a lot is Vince Russo. But I heard something today that Vince Russo brought up. If you notice, remember last year during WrestleMania season, talking about all these sellouts and sellout after sellout after sellout.
Yes.
You're not hearing that anymore. And definitely notice, if those of you on X, there's a website called WrestleTix where they track where the ticket sales are for each event. And they do WWE, AEW, all Ring of Honor. They do all of them. And one of the things that you notice is certain venues with they'll set it up for X amount of people, but it doesn't fill. Like we're local in Philly, so you have the now Xfinity Mobile Arena, which you could hold 19,000 people in there. The last Monday Night Raw, it was set up for only like 14,000 people. So if they get to 14,000 people, they can announce, oh, it's a sellout. And then if they need a little more, they can expand it a little bit. But that's just some of the things that you're starting to see. They're not selling out arenas like they were because the prices are way, way too high.
Yeah.
We usually go to Monday Night Raw in Philadelphia or SmackDown. And
I've been going in years.
Our group of friends, like the prices are just like for the, and it's not to take away from the talent because there's some really good talent, but right now, prices are just too much. And then you got to pay parking, they pay food and all that stuff. It adds up, especially if you want to take your children who aren't going to pay attention to half of it probably anyway.
I'm dying to take Christina to an event, but I and she wouldn't want me to spend that money right now.
It's hard. It's hard to make that decision. It's like, you want to do it, but at what cost? I could go and do 3 or 4 other things for that same price and then still have some money left over in the bank account. So these are decisions, and that goes to this Saturday where you have a choice. Some people, either you watch Wrestlepalooza for $30 or you watch AEW All Out for $40 to $50. People who want to watch both are going to have to, unfortunately, maybe have to pay up to $80, $90 for it. So those are just decisions that the consumers right now are probably not as prepared to do as they were 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, agreed. And just to tie a bow on it, the point I was going to make after that, Eric, you're a Bar Rescue fan. I know you guys are. So I look at when I watch an episode of Bar Rescue and I see they have a business owner who, they own this bar and they own that bar and they have like 2 or 3 bars. And so they're taking the money from one bar and they're basically they're running the one business like shit, but because the other one's successful, they're taking that money, putting it into that. But it's not helping. It's just stopping the bleeding. It's bullshit. So again,
and then Taffer says, you're a failure.
Yeah. So again, we are where we are with that. opening match, we've already heard about. I don't think we need to dive too much into it because we've already talked about what the expectation of it is. Who do you got here? You got Lesnar, you got Cena.
I think we're going to get Cena winning this one. I think he's going to get beat up pretty much the whole match. I think it's going to be kind of like Suplex City from SummerSlam, where he's just beat up, but somehow he finds a way. I can't see Cena not winning this one by hook or by crook. Maybe it's a roll up. Maybe it's probably a fluky type win, but it's a win.
Yeah, I think the same. I think Cena wins this match. I would be shocked unless there ends up being some sort of a surprise. Maybe with a main event, I could have seen that happening, but obviously this is not the main event. I'm imagining the tag team match would be the main event.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think, like I said, Cody and Drew, unfortunately, are going to kind of be, kind of lost in the shuffle. And I think that's a really great opportunity kind of going into that match. I guess we'll go into it.
Sure. Yeah.
I think Cody's going to win this match, but I think this is a great opportunity for Drew McIntyre. He's kind of been lost in the shadows a little bit in these last few months. Not that he hasn't been doing anything, but he's kind of, he had the match with Jelly Roll and Randy Orton at SummerSlam, and he's kind of, been kind of just in the weeds. A lot of guys have recently. So I think it's a great opportunity for him to really show what he's got still. He delivers pretty much every time he's out there. And I don't think this is the last time we're getting this match. I think, to your point at the beginning, a lot of this will continue probably. But I think Drew's going to put a nice performance out there, and this match has a chance to steal the show for sure.
Yeah, I think this will be a good match. Listen, they're not taking the title right off of Cody, so I thought they did a good job in taking him out, and honestly, unexpectedly, because nobody really knew that he was having another child.
Right. And filming a movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did a good job of taking him out for a few weeks, about a month. Having that little program with Randy to fill the void, build them up a little bit more coming off of the Jelly Roll program, 100%. But it has to be good. I'm concerned slightly that we are getting to the point where when is enough that Drew keeps losing the big one. I'm concerned that we're starting to approach the danger zone of that. I'm not quite there yet.
It's getting there though. He's lost to almost every top guy in every top match since he won the title at WrestleMania in 2020, the pandemic WrestleMania. I mean, since then, he had a world title win. He's lost a lot of big ones. To your point,
I think too. I might be in the minority for this. I loved the character that we have. I thought the heel turn kind of needed to happen. And it's almost like, he's a dick, but like he drops a lot of truth when he talks. So you're like, it's an interesting character. I do feel like we're starting to get to the point where it's dragging its feet a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need something to refresh the character. I don't know if it's another move to another show. I don't know that would help.
I think they kind of did that already. He was Raw and then went to SmackDown. So I think,
and it's kind of
they've done that already. So
and it's kind of the same old shtick. So I don't know. But I am a little bit concerned in the longevity of how this character is going. Drew is phenomenal. He still cuts great promos.
And he's great online. He does a really nice job. That's part of why people, I think, respect him. Like he gets a reaction, but it's not always boos. He's getting cheered out there. He has the respect of the audience, but he loves to stir the pot, which he's so great at doing. Which he's just great. I hope that I know he's going to come out looking. They got to have him out looking strong, and I think like kind of like we talked about with Cena, this could be a fact where Cody just gets beat beat to pillar to post, and but he winds up winning the match.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how the character develops after.
Yeah.
I would be utterly shocked if he dropped the title here.
Agreed.
So moving forward, we have Iyo Sky and we have Stephanie Vaquer, a match I think could steal the show. Are we going back to an Iyo run, kind of how they? Because I'm curious. They have kind of set the pieces up where this is a match I don't know. Is Stephanie ready? I think she is, but is she ready? That's the question. And then on Iyo's side, they could be setting the pieces up for Asuka to cost her the title, or they could be setting the pieces up to where, with this whole kind of cluster that's going on around her, you could have her next 3 potential opponents sitting there, and you could bridge the gap to Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Or SummerSlam. I'm sorry, or Royal Rumble, or right after Royal Rumble, basically. Yep. So,
and they're already teasing Rhea to be challenging the winner of this, so that sets up somebody there as well. So, I could see it going either way. To your point, I do think that they feel like Stephanie's ready, and I think Asuka is going to wind up costing Iyo. It might not be intentional or look intentional, but I think Stephanie's going to wind up winning this match and becoming women's world champion. And then I think you set up a program with Iyo and Asuka, and then you get the nice dream match with Stephanie and Rhea, because they haven't been doing a whole lot with Rhea. Rhea's kind of just been sitting, waiting for something. And I think that's something that she'll definitely be able to sink her teeth into. And I think that's why I think you would go to Stephanie. I don't think you're going to get Iyo Rhea again. I think maybe they will, but I think a new matchup for Rhea is something that she can sink her teeth into, and it'll be great.
Well, you could do Iyo and Rhea at WrestleMania and have Rhea finally get over Iyo, because she's never beaten Iyo.
You could, but we shall see.
Yeah, but that being said, I think what's most intriguing about this match is this is the one match where I really don't know who's going to win. I would imagine I'm picking Stephanie. I think this is the moment to really put her out there. I think she's super over, and without even really being much on television.
Right.
She's just an incredibly talented superstar. That's why she was a big deal coming in. I would worry that we're going to get. I'm okay with what they've done with Rhea, because as much as I think Rhea is one of the top dogs of the company, I worry that we're approaching Rhea fatigue. So kind of having her step back a little bit.
Kind of like Charlotte.
Correct. Even if it's, Charlotte was obviously a lot longer, and part of that was injury, but with Rhea, having her step back and maybe for 2 months, just having her appear on TV, but not putting her in a major program yet, but teasing that a major program is coming, I think is done well. So we're not overly doing it with Rhea.
Agreed.
Because I don't want what I think happened to Charlotte to happen to her, in terms of, she really is the best. And I think Charlotte is still the best.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a lesson learned too. Right. Maybe it's kind of like, all right, well, we kind of saw it with the fans getting tired of Charlotte. Let's not let the same thing happen to Rhea, because she's just super over. You don't want to mess that up.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, then we have what the hell match am I?
We have Usos versus
Usos. That's what I was trying to think. The Usos in the Vision. Yeah. I'll just give my quick winner on this, because we're running short on time. And I got 2 quick points I want to hit. To me, cool to see the Usos back. I'm hoping it's one night only. I think we're going to get a high caliber match, but this is an opportunity to pack ESPN with the top talent, but to put over the young talent who deserves it. I think you get Bronson and Braun winning this match.
I agree, but I think also we're going to see Roman after the match. I think the star power point of it with ESPN.
Maybe.
I think there's a great possibility you see Roman, and you could also see LA Knight as well, as we've seen over the last few weeks. There's definitely
Well, I think he's
tension
I think he's
as an LA Knight.
I think he's a special guest referee now, if I'm incorrect.
Is he? Oh, I did not know that.
That was a recent announcement. I'll fact check myself.
Well, that's the case. That puts another wrinkle in it. But yeah, I still think Division will win this match.
And obviously, we've beat this match, this upcoming, to death over the last week. So I'm going to be very short and sweet on this. I think AJ and Punk win this. This is to set up. This was to bridge a gap. It was to get star power on this show, and this was to set up, obviously, a program, I think, between AJ and Becky, and I think AJ eventually will win the Intercontinental title. So.
Yeah, that'll probably be down the road, setting up a one-on-one match already. But I think AJ and Punk win this match.
Yeah.
I think you may see a little ring rust out of AJ, and that's expected. But I think Punk and Seth will carry this match for the most part, and Becky will get her licks into as well. But I think we're gonna see Punk and Seth continue their feud, and then start the new one continue the new one with AJ and Becky, and set up that IC title match you were talking about.
100%. So we'll see how it goes. We'll obviously recap the show next week at our regular scheduled time on Tuesday. Let's hit topic number 2 here real quick. Just your quick thoughts and reactions. NXT Homecoming back at Full Sail University. I thought the presentation was tremendous, even having the old school intro, kind of like they used to do with the old school Raws. Mm-hmm. But with the new talent infused into it. Love the matches of legacy talent going up and or teaming to go against current talent. Backstage segments. Shayna Baszler making an on-screen appearance was super cool. I know there's been rumors that she's been working for them in a non-talent role.
Yeah,
talent develop, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, your quick thoughts on NXT Homecoming.
I love the intro. I liked how they brought the original NXT and brought it back, into the current flow.
Even with Regal and Ava, right? Like having them two have an on-screen moment.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. And great to see. And we had Grayson Waller effect, and then we had a couple matches, of the tag title match with Alexa and Charlotte, which was fun. You had HBK and Triple H. Triple H saying, "What if I want to come back?" Man, you ain't coming back. Go spit your water. But it was fun. It was fun. That Trick and Mello teaming up, that was really good.
That was great.
Yeah. So, and then adding that Miz wrinkle into it, the current stuff. So. Really fun show.
Finn coming back and getting the old school Finn entrance.
Yes,
cool.
Yeah, that was against Alexis. Cool. Yeah, that was fun, and I think they did a really nice job with it. It was cool to see them back at Full Sail. I didn't realize they hadn't been there in so long.
Yeah,
which is good. They're getting out there. It's getting more. It's getting more exposure out there, and it's it just shows how successful it's been too. Look at all the talent that's come there now on the main roster, and even in AEW, you're seeing people thriving. So it's great, and hopefully it looks like they've got more talent to come for that main roster.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the talent work with them, they hung with them, they put on a great show. You had obviously Charlotte and Becky also on the show. Charlotte and Alexa on the show. They really packed the show with a lot of talent.
Yeah, they did really well.
Really good stuff. Great mix. Final minute, and if you have to drop off after the minute, you can. I can do the wrap up here, but quick thoughts. Heavy rumor coming out the last day or so that TNA officials and WWE officials are 100% expecting now. I think Joe Hendry's contract ends at the very beginning of 2026 and will be a WWE NXT talent, or maybe not NXT. He might go main roster by then. Just your quick thoughts. Is this the big signing that we think it could be, or no?
It definitely potential, and WWE definitely sees the potential in Joe Hendry, because he's essentially part of the NXT roster without even being an official NXT WWE superstar. He's still doing some stuff in TNA. I think he's feuding with Eric Young and his group the cleanser, the cleaner, or whatever, or whatever he's calling himself now. So, it's an opportunity for him to, maybe that's his wrap up story, and then maybe then it brings him full time. But I think you've already seen, he's did WrestleMania, he did Royal Rumble. It's clear that WWE loves this guy, and they're using him as much as possible. So I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion that he's coming over full time.
Yeah, agreed. I think, obviously from the comments we've heard from Shawn Michaels following his appearance at WrestleMania and at NXT, some of their events, then John Cena going out of his way to have a private conversation with him. It shows that this guy is somebody that WWE really sees as a big-time, prime-time player for them in the future.
Definitely.
Appreciate everybody who jumped on. Unexpected show, really unannounced, but we felt like we had to get something out there. It was a rough week.
Very big weekend, and we wanted to make sure we got out here to give our thoughts, and hope everybody gets to watch not only that, but also AEW All Out.
We couldn't even talk about it because
there's so much to talk. Yeah, so much to talk about. But there's some really good stuff there. So hopefully everybody gets a chance to watch it and enjoy wrestling this weekend. Enjoy it, and hopefully you're able to afford it, and hopefully you're able to watch it. And everybody have fun this weekend and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to thank our sponsor, Specialized Physical Therapy. Find them at Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Don't forget, too, guys, especially if you're over there on the Insta, follow these two pages right here, A2D and Lazy Booking Podcast social media pages.
Do it.
Do it now.
That's right.
But great show. Appreciate you, Eric. Appreciate everybody here. Appreciate our big dad, Tom Arnaud. Stay tuned for tonight. I believe it's after the final whistle. Unless they're not going tonight. I don't know, because they didn't even know we were running today. So for myself, for Eric, and everybody here at A2D Radio, we'll see you guys on Tuesday, our regularly scheduled day. And until then, like, subscribe, follow on your way out the door. Share it with somebody you know. And that person or somebody else, give them a hug and tell them you love them. We'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.